Hey guys, it's Dillon, welcome back. And before we get into this, first I want to say this is the BRB screen that I will be constantly using, except that the background here with the P5 theme might disappear and be replaced with something over time, but I haven't quite decided that yet. And number two, it'll always say Dillon will be RB on this screen, whether I'm here, whether I'm away. Basically, if I'm not recording a game or if I'm not actually doing something, you're just going to see the screen a lot. And I want to go into the past for a little bit because I realized the first time I tried this, my microphone wasn't registering properly, and that was really stupid. But let's go back to the past for a bit. Back whenever the house was still being put together and everything, about 2 weeks before the guys decided to finally quit and move on their own way, we kind of got stuck halfway, but Nan decided to come over anyway. We all moved in, got ourselves situated. Anthony occasionally stays with me in my room, and we just kind of hang out and do what we do, but it's not a constant. Let me just... There we go, that's better. That was bugging me. Anyway, I didn't have internet at the time, so I decided I wasn't going to deal with taking Silver back and forth from room to room to upload and everything, so I kind of just put that on the back burner for a long time. And about a week or so ago, we finally got internet, as I'm sure a lot of people on my Hangouts group actually saw. But I didn't really know what I was going to plan yet. I had plans, but I didn't know how to, go around doing them. So now I can finally say, without a doubt, I think I had this figured out. DJER25, which you're watching this on right now, is going to be my 100% informative Let's Play channel. There will be no streams. There won't be any, basically if I did it for YouTube Live or Twitch, it's not going to show up here. And the thing is, I decided that whenever I do this, I'm going to be the most informative that I can throughout the whole game. Well, unless if things get repetitive, and then I'm just going to start making my own usual chatter. Number two, I plan on covering almost everything the game has to offer, and even if I don't have DLCs or certain things updated yet, I will come back to them eventually whenever I finally get the DLC or whatever I'm missing, and I'll finish that up under the DLC section, which I'll talk about in a bit. And basically, I plan to cover the game as thoroughly as I can. Sometimes there will be certain things I have to talk about before the video starts, and every once in a while the rules are going to shift a little bit, but basically I now have the idea that no video is ever going to be completely and utterly incapable of being distracted at some point. Like, I could be recording right now and Anthony could suddenly decide to just walk in and be like, "Hey bro, what's up?" In which case, all I can do is press pause and hope that it doesn't come up in the recording that it's a huge distraction. But I'm not going to be that worried about distractions anymore. There's going to be kind of a loose feeling to the way that I record, where I'm not going to be uptight about everything. I'm not always going to try to be a perfectionist. I just want to get the best out of the game to my own standard abilities. And if that's not enough, sorry bro, I can't help you. Next off, I do want to start doing YouTube streams and Twitch streams eventually, but one, I have to make sure that if I'm going to use YouTube Live, I have to know what games I want to do for it. There are some games like Dark Souls and Bloodborne and Final Fantasy 15, the Persona series. Games like those take hours and hours of gameplay. So I kind of want to do some YouTube stuff for that, but I also want to stream a lot of it too to make it, more compatible for people that are fine with watching hour-plus long videos like I do. Or for those that don't really have the luxury, I plan on splitting those segments into half segments, which is basically where I cut the video at 30 to 35 minutes and continue with my recording But all I do is basically cut the video into smaller sizes for those that can't really, process or do what we do. So for people like, I want to say 3 or 4 of my friends in the Hangouts can't necessarily watch straight up hour-long videos. So I'm going to have to cut in a half hour or 35-minute long segments so that they can keep up with what's going on. And that's also kind of what I'm going to be doing for YouTube in a way. The only thing is I'm planning on finding places to cut and stop recording and then continue recording after. But it's just going to be getting in the process that I gotta get used to. So for this YouTube channel, expect not to be much longer than 30 to 35 minute segments. And even if it's only an hour and a few minutes long, I'm still going to cut it. It doesn't matter. Alright, next up, I have a lot of future channels in mind. I mean, it's not like I'm going to go crazy with it and make like 5 million of them. But right now, the only ones that I know of that I'm actually going to use for YouTube is going to be DJR25, the live version of that, and I'm also going to be putting Twitch archives on the live channel whenever I get those done and cut up and all that stuff. But basically, if it's live, it'll be on the live channel. If it's not, find it on DJR25. And eventually, once I get enough videos recorded, I plan on posting them on a big quote-unquote Omega channel, where basically all of the videos that I've ever done, whether streams, whether recordings, whether face cam, any of that stuff will be up on there, all for whoever wants to see it. And you don't have to constantly swap between a bunch of different channels to be able to find what you want. I'm just going to post it on one channel and link it in a playlist on the Omega channel. So like this video right now, whenever I finally have enough recorded for this channel and I post them on the Omega channel, you'll find this there as in a playlist, not on the actual channel itself. So that's how I'm going to be doing linking with that in the future. Sorry, I had to pause for a drink. I plan on doing most of my recordings and everything using my capture card that I put up on a YouTube video a while back. So if the quality isn't, if the streams and all aren't the best, sorry. I try to work with XSplit, which I'm using right now, and it doesn't really like my capture card that much. For some reason it keeps glitching the screen out. But eventually I'll figure it out and I'll get it to work properly. In future, I do plan on doing tournament channels, where basically I start up a game on NetPlay or start up on a system and just be like, hey guys, I'm streaming this, come on in and we'll have a tournament. And if people can't make it, we'll get into more description on that whenever they start up. But basically, if people don't show up, it's okay, we can substitute for a backup, or we can just wait for another day. So, unlike top quality tournaments like, like the Smash tournaments, like the Splatoon tournaments, things like that, we can't necessarily properly 100% expect everybody to be there at the time that they're needed. So, we'll work those details out in future segments. And basically, I do plan on doing Twitch streams eventually, but number one, I have to get into the idea of how Twitch works because it's quite a bit different than YouTube. And more things are lenient over on Twitch, but I also still don't know the full boundaries of what I'm able to do. So eventually, once I start doing a little bit of quote-unquote science with that, then I'll get back to you guys on the live channel and talk about that a little bit. I'm also going to be working on a podcast eventually, which kind of works like this right now, only I'll be doing it live, and chat can actually join me in conversation, get a few questions answered, make a few requests that I might pick up in the future, even though me being the person I am, I play just about everything at some point. And also, I have a few other games that I can't really do anything about right now. Like, most of my PlayStation stuff is on my PS3, but I can't really record that right now because, once again, the HDCP or high definition copy protection, or whatever you want to call it, keeps getting in the way of my recordings. So it's basically like I have to be able to find a really good way of, this is going to sound dirty, bypassing that, but not for copying like HD movies and everything, like just for gameplay. As long as I can play the good old classics like Infamous 1 and 2, Metal Gear 2 and 3, God of War 3, all those good games, then I don't really care to copy over HD protected stuff. I mean, as long as I can do my gaming, I'm perfectly happy with that. I don't care what else is like forgotten and given up in exchange. But sadly, PlayStation didn't make a compatibility switch on the inside of the system, so you have to bypass it through other means. Which I have a way of doing that, but I don't have it on hand yet. I'll be testing that in the future. And last but not least, I do plan on eventually doing a lot of other things. Oh, I totally forgot. I'm an idiot. My apologies. Just going to cut this short. DJR25 is going to be the 100% Let's Play. The Twitch streams are probably going to be my quote-unquote casual hangout not casual hangout, like 100%, no, not 100%, bleh. Let me clear my mind for a sec. Okay, I got it. They're going to be my challenge runs. Yeah, for Twitch, whenever I'm doing a challenge run, that's where you'll find me. And if I'm doing a casual stream where I don't really care to actually complete the game, or if I don't plan on doing anything in particular, I just want to stream a game for fun, then it'll be on YouTube Live. But both of those are going to be on the DJR25 Live channel, not here. And for most of the archives that I do end up doing for Twitch, I plan on moving over to YouTube, just because I want it to be accessible to almost everybody that I know and care about who actually want to be part of that. Otherwise, if it's not that big a deal, or if it's not something that many people watch, I don't care to cut it. And just as well, I also plan on doing a thing where I kind of just play games for the fun of it, not for any particular purpose, not really anything that I want to complete, or anything that people are going to be like, oh, how I missed that whenever I played. No, I just want to sit around, chat, hang out with chat, and just enjoy time. So if you don't want a real Let's Play, or an actual, like, quote-unquote try-hard recording, then go on over to YouTube Live. YouTube Live. And whenever I eventually learn about Twitch, then if you want to see me challenge myself in really stupid ways, or try difficulties that nobody likes, you'll find me over there eventually. But right now, the bare basic is, for YouTube, I have 3 ways of doing this. For my 100% Let's Plays, the first part of it is always going to be the stuff that you get in-game naturally. Like, this is no DLC, this is no unlockables, this is just straight up bare bones gameplay. So as long as it's in the game and it hasn't been unlocked, or at least certain ways, I'll explain that in future segments as well, then I'll do it. It'll be part of the Let's Play. Next off, for games like Final Fantasy and Persona and everything, I plan on doing something called a collection slash, what was it called? Collection slash rerun, there we go. Where basically I go through the rest of the game and look for the stuff that I missed, or the stuff that I unlocked later that I never touched up on, and I do a little bit of that. And at the very end of it all, I do something called this goes with the DLC. The DLC is literally exactly what it sounds like. You don't need it for the actual completion of the game. You don't actually need it for any particular purpose other than just having fun, or just unlocking something that you wish were there before. But here comes the thing, it's not just for downloadable content. It's also for things like new game modes, new game plus, stuff that you get throughout the game that you don't play with naturally. So basically, I'm going to run through the entire part of the game, just doing the bare minimum and just getting exactly what I need to do right away. And then once I complete that run through, I go back and collect all the stuff that I missed in the gameplay beforehand, and I really want to get just to show people, hey, it's here, or hey, this is something I missed, don't be mad at me for not getting it. And then lastly, the DLC will be the very end of the channel, the very end of the playlist, where it's basically me saying, oh, by the way, here's some stuff that I unlocked and I never touched, or hey, there's some DLC that I never picked up on, so here it is. And last but not least, for games that are in a series like, once again, Final Fantasy, Persona, God of War, all those kinds of things, as long as there's more than a couple of games, I'm going to be combining them all in one playlist and basically going from the intended order to the end. So basically, for games like Devil May Cry, I just want to get into this real quick. Devil May Cry is actually out of order chronologically because they started with 1, which was supposed to be 2, 2 was supposed to be 3, and 3 was supposed to be 1. But they posted it the way that they did, and it kind of confused people. And then they made 4 and 5, which were supposed to take place after 2, way farther in the future. And the DMC reboot is just kind of not even really part of the series. It's just taking the characters, reimagining, and basically adding new stuff for the sake of, hey, let's try something weird and new. And then for things like Final Fantasy, I only plan on putting them in order from 1 through 15 just because of the fact that you see the differences as the series went on. Only a few actual games like 10 and 10-2, 13, 13-2, and Lightning Returns, all of those actually have like a set balance, so they have to go together. But you could play just about any Final Fantasy other than those two in the series, and it's literally disconnected. No, none of the stories agree with each other. None of them actually take place in the same like universe or setting, unlike Dissidia, where it all comes together and it's a just mashup of woe. But anyway, I plan on putting things in order like that. And as far as off titles, I kind of plan on sticking those wherever they came in. Like, let's go with Resident Evil Outbreak. That came out on the PS2 between 4 and 5. So after I get done with 4, I plan on eventually posting Outbreaks 1 and 2 in between a 4 and 5. So that way it's not completely out of order. It's not like all the side stories are at the end. It's just kind of, here's the main series, and then whenever you check another playlist, here's the side stories, and then the last playlist is just all of it together the way that it was intended. Which means that for some series, like once again Devil May Cry, we will have the intended order, which I'll be calling the chronological order, and then the actual order, where it'll be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and reboot. Well, yeah, kind of like that. No, I'm sorry. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, reboot, and then 5. Yeah, because 5 is coming up next year, and I am so looking forward to it. But anyway, that's just a little bit of pick-me-up for what you need to know in the future. I plan on finally coming back to YouTube, getting into YouTube Live every now and then, learning about Twitch, not necessarily learning not learning like how to stream and everything, but just kind of the ins and outs of what you can and cannot do. And basically, I'm just going to start back up. I'm still not going to be working Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. I may upload Friday, but don't expect an actual recording for Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. Weekends are my days off. And that's just about everything. I hope to see you in future videos. I thank you so much for sitting here and listening to me blab on and on and on about crap that I could have just covered in videos, but hey, apparently a lot of people say that they love my voice, so I guess this is a good thing for most of them. And last but not least, I hope that you have just as much fun as I do. I don't intend on being the most impressive person or the most interesting, but I'm just doing this simply for the fact that there are a lot of other people out there, but not everyone has the same charm and fashion to them. But anyway, this has been DJ Emerald Rain 25 or Dillon, whichever one you prefer, whatever, and I will see you in future videos. Thank you all so much for watching again, and as usual, bye bye.